Baruchim haba and welcome everyone. This special shir is dedicated by my dear friend, Rabbi Ephraim Pinsauer, in honor of his birthday. Hashem should be mavarechim with shanim, tovim, umasukim, va'arukim. We have in Parshas Savo the pasuk, Parag Chav Ches, pasuk Yud, v'ra'u kol amei haaretz. When all the nations of the world will see, ki shem Hashem nikra alecha, that the name of God is called upon you, v'yaru mimeka, and they will fear you. They will have awe and reverence for you. What exactly is it? What exactly will inspire the nations of the world to have awe and reverence for the Jew? And the Gemara tells us that this is referring to the tefillin, the wearing of the tefillin. In fact, the Baal HaTurim says, Shem Hashem Nikra is Rashi Tevois, Shin. It's referring to the shin of the tefillin. But I think for further understanding, we need to look at the pasuk before. The pasuk before, Parag Chav Ches, pasuk Tes, Yikimcha Hashem lo la'am kadosh. God will establish for him a holy nation, kasher nishbalach, as he swore to you. That's provided, ki sishmar es mitzvahs Hashem lekecha, that you observe the mitzvahs, v'halachta b'drachav, and you go in his ways. One of the 8 times it says, v'halachta b'drachav. I believe that these 2 ingredients are not isolated mitzvahs, to observe the mitzvahs and to walk in his ways, but these are the 2 ingredients needed to inspire awe and reverence in the eyes of the nations of the world. And I believe it's for the following reason. What would inspire the nations of the world to have awe and reverence for a Jew? When they realize the name of Hashem is upon us. So how do we achieve that? How can it be recognized on us that the name of Hashem is upon us? We know that God created man in his image. What exactly does that mean? The Targum Yonasan ben Uziel says in Bereshis Parak Aleph, Pasuk Chav Zayin, Ubera Hashem Yasa Adam b'diyuknei. God created man in his image. B'tzalma Hashem bara yaseh. He created man in his form. B'masan ve'arba'in usmane evarin, with 248 limbs. B'tlas ma'av v'shitin mecham shagidin, and 365 sinews. So when we say that God created man in his image, it means he created man with 248 limbs and 365 sinews. How does that represent and reflect that God created man in his image? God doesn't have limbs. God doesn't have sinews. So in what way is the fact that we have 248 limbs and 365 sinews reflective of being created in the image of God? But I believe the answer is that God and the Torah are one. The Torah has 248 positive commandments and 365 negative commandments. Therefore, we are created in the image of the Torah itself. The Torah itself consists of this motto, this form, 248 limbs, 365 sinews. The Torah is one with God, and therefore if we're created with 248 limbs and 365 sinews, we're created in the image of the Torah. But furthermore, the Torah itself is what breathes life into man's structure. So the 248 positive commandments give life to man's limbs and give life to man's sinews. And therefore man is not just a physical being, he's a spiritual entity. And the spiritual entity of man, of 248 spiritual limbs and 365 spiritual sinews, is created in the image of the Tzura Ha'elyona. So when man observes the mitzvahs, he's not just fulfilling God's bidding, he is now becoming similar to, if we can say, as it were, the image of God himself. So the observance of mitzvahs is not just a way to get reward, but it's a way of infusing divine significance into man's structure, physical and spiritual. Furthermore, there's another way for man's physical structure to parallel and become similar to God, and that is through the mitzvah of v'halachta b'drachav. As the Talmud Dvar writes in Parak Aleph, that a person is ra'oi, worthy to become similar to his Creator, and then he will be besoid hatzura ha'elyona. Because if only our body looks like God, but our actions will not be like God, we are falsifying our physical structure. People will say nice physical structure, but bad actions. Because the main tselem and demus on high are God's actions. And what benefit is it, says the Talmud Tavara, if we're similar to God's structure, if our actions are not true to that structure? So people will say nice physical structure, but your actions, which are really the primary aspect of the Surah Al-Yaina, you are not similar to. So I would say then there are two main ways that we can become more divine. By observing all the mitzvahs, we are imbuing our structure and infusing it that it should be similar to Hashem, to make it in fact that it is in the image of Hashem, because our image is the 365 sinews and 248 limbs. And secondly, by going in His ways. So therefore the pasuk says, Ki sishmar es mitzvahs Hashem, when you keep the mitzvahs, and v'halachta b'drachav, and you go in His ways. So now, by keeping all the mitzvahs, we are in fact rendering our limbs and sinews similar to that of Hashem. By going in His ways, we're making our actions similar to Hashem. When we wear the tefillin, God also wears tefillin. And that is another way that we become similar to Hashem. And furthermore, when we wear the tefillin, God is resting His divine presence on us. Like Rabbeinu Bechaye says, when we wear tefillin, it's like we're in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. The tefillin on the head is like, literally, the name of God in the Holy of Holies. So with all of these three ingredients, the nations of the world will see us and they will be inspired with awe and reverence. When we are Sishmar es mitzvahs Hashem, and we are halachta b'drachav, and Shem Hashem nikra alecha, the result will be v'yaru mimeka, they will have respect, awe, and reverence for us. And this will bring us great bracha. Yiftach Hashem lecha es oitzarei hatov es hashamayim. So we should taka bizoicha to all of these brachos, which will ultimately lead to unasancha Hashem l'roish v'loi lezanav. Wishing everyone a wonderful Shabbos. Haba alinu l'taiva.